So for support, I changed Pike into S+. Pike is actually broken. Pike is one of the best playmaking supports, and in the right hand, he is just an absolute roaming playmaking hyper carry monster. So I've moved Pike up into S+ tier, changed my opinion. Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here, and welcome to today's tier list for patch 4.0c. It's just a small balance changes, but we have a few changes that are pretty cool, especially like the Nautilus changes they did. So AP Nautilus in the jungle becoming much better. And for you guys wondering what I think is the best or are the best picks in the current meta, then definitely stay tuned. I can flex right now. This is a challenger's opinion. I'm a challenger right now, so I can flex. This is a challenger's opinion. You might listen to me, but you can also just ignore it. Personal opinion. I repeat it because there will be some crybaby saying, "Why do you listen to him? There are other champions, it's wrong. It's not database, it's his opinion." Yeah, it's just my opinion, but at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. It's just an orientation, which might help you guys, because I've been challenger 6 or 7 times already, and I was legend rank 1 for quite some time. Finished rank 2 in season 1 as well. Legendary queue, solo queue only mode. Not spam 1000 games in challenger. 1000 games in challenger 3 queue. Congratulations. 50% win rate. You did it. You did it on your one-trick pony. Congratulations. I mean, at the end of the day, you can play any champion you want that you like. Doesn't matter. You can also pick. Yeah, I've put Kale Baron Lane into Thresh. You can still play it. You can maybe get challenger if you have big brain, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a lot of suffering. It's a lot of suffering. But anyways, I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's hop right into it. Unfortunately, Mad Labs. It's not working, so I had to redo everything. Hopefully I didn't miss a champion. If I miss a champion, don't spam it in the comments. Darkbreaker, you missed this champion in the Baron Lane part. You missed this champion in the jungle part. Don't mind me, okay? But yeah, anyways, let's get started. So for the Baron lane tier list, we are gonna do Baron, jungle, mid, ADC, and then support. I'm gonna do timestamps if you guys just wanna skip through, but if you guys wanna listen to the reasoning and my personal opinion, then definitely watch it completely for the in-depth explanation. So in S+, we have Mr. Aatrox himself, still broken, tanky. So let's summarize. He has too much crowd control, he has too much sustain, and he is a beefy motherfucker. So that's why he's S+ here, and he's winning a lot of matchups, most matchups in fact. Do I have Gwen here? Okay, next one, Akali. One of the best assassins in the game, very good at carrying the game in solo queue, if you know how to play her correctly. Riven, a high mobility, burst damage assassin. High skill ceiling, especially in Baron lane matchups. Next one, Gwen, one of the best late game scaling AP champions with insane amount of damage and true damage, insane carry potential. Camille, great playmaking potential, great duelist, and overall super solid. Gragas, whether you want to play him AP, full AP, or tank, or hybrid, or whatever, he's a super solid pick no matter what, and overall great in teamfight and decent in the 1v1. Fiora, one of the strongest duelists, especially in the early game. She's one of the strongest Baron laners, and she scales like a truck. Only downside is that her teamfight is not that good. Jax, in comparison, might have a little bit weaker early game. Honestly, with Grasp, I think he's more than fine against most matchups. He is one of the best late game scaling monsters, and his split pushing is almost unrivaled. Nice. Next one, Jace. Jace. I was thinking about maybe just putting him in like a high S tier. By the way, I just want to say, this is not in an order, because I've seen comments saying, "Oh, why are you putting this champion over this champion?" This is not in order, by the way. You can see, okay, within the tier, they are not within an order, okay? Understand it? Nice. Jace, one of the strongest lane bullies in the game, especially in the Baron lane against elite champions. Great poke damage as well. Renekton has the whole package. He is strong in the early game. Good frontline, good crowd control, good mobility. Now let's move on to S tier. We have Shen. Shen is... Actually, I've seen the statistics. He has like one of the highest win rates according to a Reddit post. I can see why. Because of his global impact with the ultimate. When he's winning his lane and he's joining with ultimate, he can create a huge advantage. But at the same time, when you're joining a teamfight with your ultimate and your teammates are monkeys, what will happen? You're losing your advantage in the lane, the enemy laner is gonna get your turret, and you're getting nothing out of it. And you're also getting outscaled by a lot of Sandra champions that are gonna pressure you. Shen is a very team-orientated pick, and I don't believe that he's broken, just for the reason that he is so reliant on having humans. At the end of the day, as a Shen, you will not be able to carry games on your own, especially if your bot laners are dog shits. And trust me, play solo queue, spam the game. I wanna see you guys carrying the game with Shen. Some games, yes, but a lot of games, it's suffering when your bot lane is 0-10. Like, you're joining a team fight, it's a 5 vs 4, and you still end up losing. Do you know the amount of times I had this on Shen? And then on top of that, if you play against, let's say, Gwen, Fiora, Jax, you will have a big problem if your teammates don't get the lead with the ultimate you're using, because they will snowball out of control, get too strong with Sandra Borg, and you can't hold them anymore, plus Hullbreaker. So every time you're moving with the ultimate, you're fucked. That's the reasoning. And the same applies for any other tank champions, by the way, I have in this list. Sion, overall solid. Solid tank, good split pusher. I think that's it. Set. Strong laner, good in teamfights, very tanky. But I just don't feel like he has the edge when it comes down to, wow, this champion is broken. Because he can get kited pretty easily. Same for Darius, like reasoning wise. Oh, can I move this still? Oh, I can still move this. Darius, very same reasoning. He's super situational against melee champions. He's great. Against high mobility, poke, crowd control comps, he sucks. Big problem. But he has good carry potential into the right team comps, to be fair. Yone, hyper scaling champion, can be absolutely fantastic. Early game, okay. 3 items, cracked. Garen, a super solid champion, very beginner friendly champion as well. Tanky, good damage, that's it. Arella received a pretty big nerf, which is gonna hurt her early game in my opinion. I guess when you have 3 items, you have like Borg, Sandra, Wit's End, or Death Dance. When you have enough attack speed to proc the passive enough, I guess that's gonna make up for it into the late game, making a late game a bit better. Very high skill ceiling, a lot of bad matchups, so you need to be a master on this champion to make her work correctly in Baron lane. Next one, Malphite. Same issue as the Shen about the outscaling, split pushing, joining teamfights part. Very good in the lane overall with his poking, and ultimate is obviously great in teamfights as well. But you need to create big enough advantage with your ultimates with a Clown Fester. Need a big enough advantage. Diana, overall super solid, good in teamfights. Struggled against a lot of matchups, to be fair, I would say. And gets outscaled 1v1 wise. Depends, depends. Dr. Mundo, overall is okay, but nothing too special about him. Jarvan can hold his lane, nothing too special, good in teamfights. Graves, super scaling, can be good against some matchups. Singe, super scaling. Oh, honestly, you know, Singe with the new items will be so sexy. Like the new burn item. Then you can run Liandry, okay, you actually don't need Sunfire necessary. Liandry, Riftmaker, new burn AP item, new burn tank item, maybe with the Sunfire, maybe not. And potentially can be pretty good. Early game weak, but he scales like a truck and is very good in teamfights. While Pantheon is early game very strong, but falls off in the late game super hard. Yasuo in the early game, not that strong, but he scales like a truck, but you need the right team comp. Akshan, one of the best lane bullies in the game. So he can be very oppressive, but at the same time, he's also very easy to punish. Cannon, very oppressive in the early game, great laner, good in teamfights, but gets outscared and is very squishy and punishable. Warwick, cheesy pick, meh, don't like him Baron lane. Nautilus is okay in the Baron lane, tanky, can soak up damage. Good crowd control, but nothing too special. Olaf, very situational, cheesy pick. Tryndamere, very scaling pick. Vayne and Lucian, a very similar reason like Akshan, but more easy to punish and not as oppressive as Akshan, to be honest. Narcissus to scaling. I like every time I say the same thing. His playstyle doesn't really fit into Wildrift, a fast-paced game that much, because you don't have a long laning phase where you can stack up. Obviously, into the late game he scales like a truck, but hey, get into the late game, farm enough stacks, hopefully. Kayle, if you are one of those Kayle one-trick ponies, in Baron lane, mid lane, different story. Jungle, different story. Oh, I forgot jungle. I forgot to put jungle, by the way. Wait, before I forget it, we'll put an A tier. Or B? Probably it should be. You're masochist. You're masochist, my friends. If you want to play Kayle, she is weak, too scaling, and too easy to punish. She's so squishy. She's so easy to dive. If you play against a human and the enemy jungler is also a human, you're 0-5 every game. There's no other way. Guaranteed. But let's move on to jungle. So for jungle, for the S plus tier, we don't have any changes, I think. Oh, wait, I put on Olaf actually. Aatrox, still very strong. One of the hot picks in China, in the jungle. Like, he's one of the most popular jungle Chinese picks. And I also think he has one of the highest win rates in China as well from the stats. Because in China, you can actually check out the stats they have in Diamond Plus. But remember, Diamond is piss low. Master's also piss low. So I would take these stats with a grain of salt, to be fair. Because they can be very inflated because they are looking at such a huge player base. And they're also looking at like very Clown Fiesta based games. So this whole thing, or this whole tier list, is more high elo orientated, but I'm also considering like low elo. I think these picks are also great in low elo. Like whether low or high elo, there is not that much of a difference. You can argue like easy to play champions like Amumu, like AoE ultimates can be better in lower ranks, but also if you are good on these champions, they're also broken in lower ranks. It really doesn't matter. So Aatrox is strong. Diana, one of my favorite picks. This is actually the champion that got me into Challenger. It's my number one pick right now. 1000 GPM, 70 win rate with Diana in this season to Challenger. Like, high mobility, burst assassin, great carry potential. Same for the Gregors, good poke, very solid into any team comp, good playmaking potential, good one-shot potential. Lee Sin Kha'Zix, Lee Sin insane, high fast-paced jungler, snowboards the game like a truck. Kha'Zix can snowboard the game out of control as well, and he has very good assassination potential and map pressure and map control with his ambushes and brushes where he's trapping and picking people one by one. Shyvana, insane 1vs9 hyper carry in the late game. Evelynn, insane snowballing champion, also hyper carry. Wukong, overall super solid champion, insane amount of sustain, also good playmaking potential and great initiator with his 5-man knock-up ultimate plus don't play combo. So next one, we have Nautilus. I think in lower ranks you can just play full AP, or you can still go full tank, or I think the best build is like a hybrid build where you're building a bit of AP but also a lot of tankiness. Maybe I've seen some builds suggest, I think, Road of Age, Sunfire, and then you can get the two other tanky AP items like Reflector or Banshee, plus maybe a Thormail, or maybe Iceborne for more ability haste, or maybe Runwind's Omen or Abyssal Mask could be a great item as well. And then we have the new tank items as well. Hybrid build. I think hybrid build makes him not too squishy, that he's still very tanky, but also gives him a way better jungle clear speed with the additional AP you have on the third ability. In my opinion, jungle clear speed is very good. He has a lot of crowd control, is a great frontliner, and has good playmaking potential. He's very similar to Nunu, by the way. Nunu, I'm gonna put him... So the explanation, like, since they're so similar, I can summarize this. Nunu also great ganker. Jungle Clear is not as quick as Nautilus, but overall provides a lot of crowd control and meat to tank for his allies. But at the end of the day, if your teammates are bad, chat, write it. If your teammates are bad, you lose. Can carry. But if you're on Diana and your teammates are bad, still can carry. Still 1 vs 9 possible. But on Nunu, not possible. Not possible. Next one, Olaf. I think the reason why I'm putting him down is because there are a lot of team comps right now where Olaf is not working. Into the red team comp, Olaf, broken, too strong. You run them down, true damage, ignore crowd control. But a lot of team comps, Olaf doesn't really fit into that, and he gets kited and he won't reach them. That's why I'm putting him S tier. I found myself in a lot of situations where I'm like, I can't pick Olaf here. It just doesn't work. It's not good enough. While Diana or Gragas, every time. You can play him every time. It works into any team comp. He fits into any team comp, and he fits against any team comp as well. Next one. Wait, why do I have Shannon S tier? I think he had him A tier before. Probably moved him by accident. Kayn red form, very juicy, beefy, sussy. I would say red Kayn is just very good into melee champions because he has so much damage and so much mobility as well. Good at snowboarding the game. Camille also very good right now. Good ganking potential. Her ganks are very good. And good pick-off potential as well. Jarvan, super solid ganker, very strong in the early game, good crowd control, and good initiator. Lilia, in the early game, very slow paced, but 3 items, she becomes very, very strong. Wait, did I miss Gwen? Same reasoning for Gwen, by the way. Both of them are very slow paced in the early game, but once they have 3 items, they become very strong hyper carries. Actually, same reasoning for Yone, by the way. Exact same reason. Like, early game weak, need to farm up, 3 items, GG easy. Bam. Echo, same reasoning. I can just put them together. Nice. And otherwise... Okay, Riven. Hyper, mobility, carry. Good damage. Fiora, strong in the early game, good duelist. Jace, overall good damage, good poke. Decent engage. Darius Jungle becoming very popular, by the way. Against a lot of team comps, he can be very good. Decent gank, good hyper carry with the resets as well. Fizz, should have put him with them. Early game weak, 3 items, GG easy. You just keep one-shotting people. Xin, very solid pick overall. Early game, he's good in skirmishes, he has good damage, he's good frontline. Very solid pick, you can pick him almost every time. And he has decent mobility because he can keep dashing. Vi, also very solid pick, but not a good hyper carry. She has good ganking potential, especially with her ultimate. Good frontline, decent damage, but not hyper carry. Woohoo! Hyper carry. Morgana, in the early game, she just wants to focus on farming, and in the late game, she is a very oppressive, high crowd control poking mage. Very good in team fights. I feel like Arella with the early game changes, -6 AD, her jungle clear is gonna be so much worse than before, and I'm not sure if she's S- or like A+, but she probably still has very good hyper carry potential once she has like 2-3 items. High skill ceiling. High skill ceiling in demand. Oh wait, is my cam in the way, by the way? Oh, it is a bit in the way. I just realized. Oops. Sorry boys. Next one, Master Yi got buffed. It's gonna make him much better in the late game. Like, he will have way more true damage now, which is actually not bad with the on-hit build. I think in lower elo he is very strong, especially anything below Master. I think he could be like S+, but I think in higher ranks where he's facing crowd control, he's very coin flippy. Either he's god or he's trash. Choose your poison. Dr. Mundo, I think overall, jungle kill speed wise, very, very quick. Not gonna lie, good frontline, but bad ganking potential. Grace, 2 scaling, but once he has items, he's actually very good. Not the best in teamfights though. Shen, teamfight orientated champion, good ganks. The ultimate is very good actually for Shen because you can just counter gank. Wait, why do I have him twice here? Probably by accident. B or A? I guess I'm gonna put him A. Pantheon, early game strong, late game weak. Good snowballing in the early game. Amumu, great teamfight oriented champion. I would say go hybrid. Hybrid is the way to go all the time. Good damage, tankiness then, good initiator. Very weak in the early game though. Renekton, overall decent champion. Zed, great assassin. But they nerfed Zed jungle if I'm not wrong. Rengar got nerfed, but I still think he's 8 tier great at snowballing. Rama's situational pick can be pretty good. Can be a pretty good frontline against AD champions or physical damage based champions. I think the problem I have with this champion is, like, obviously in the early game he's a great ganker, but he falls off in terms of like farming potential, and he needs to snowball and get some picks off, and if he doesn't he will just get outskilled completely, and his gold income will be so low in comparison to other champions. So he's kind of like a very team reliant, 2 team reliant champion. Warwick, I think he's okay. Very good. I think he's pretty solid in solo queue. Problem is just team fighting is very shit. Jax, 2 scaling, weak in the early game. Kayle, same reasoning. Tryndamere, same reasoning. Hayaso, same reasoning. Bam! We are rushing through. Set. I think he's okay. Playmaking wise. But maybe jungle is not the best position for him. Because his ganks are not that insane, to be honest. Singed, very cheesy pick, can work to be fair. I've seen some Akshan jungles, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's honestly not that bad, but let's move on to mid lane. So for mid lane, let's summarize really quickly. I feel like I'm talking too much. Zoe, insane poke, annoying, too much range. Pyke, I moved him up actually to S+. Pyke in the right hand is such a snowballing, roaming monster, it's insane. Very insane playmaking potential. Yasuo, one of the strongest scaling champions, high skill ceiling champion. Akali, insane assassin. Yone, also insane carry potential. Karma, just has everything. Good poke, good utility. Kassadin, late game scaling monster. Katarina, 1 reset and the game is over. Aurelia, weaker in the early game, but late game probably much stronger. But I feel like maybe snowball potential is a bit weaker now because they nerfed the base AD. Akshan, very oppressive. Laner, very strong carry in the late game. Jace, oppressive laner, good at poking people down. Gragas over, very solid. Cannon, great ultimate. Garen, solid laner. Fiora, very oppressive early game duelist. Twisted Fate, global ultimate. Galio AP might be a bit weaker now, by the way, because they nerfed the AP scalings on the ultimate. Zed, still great assassin. Corki, great in teamfights. Ziggs and Orianna, great utility. Poking mages, great in teamfights. Fizz, great assassin, good at picking people off. Galio, global ultimate, good poke, good frontline. Oh, Diana is S. Diana is S+. I'm trolling. Why was she there? Oh, I think because I didn't move her. I had her here. Wait. I probably forgot to move her. Diana is great assassin, hyper carry. Veigar, 2 scaling. Singed, 2 scaling. Early game, some good pick-off potential though. Has some hard matchups. Gwen in the early game, pretty weak. Echo in the early game, pretty weak, but they scale pretty well. Pantheon, same explanation as always. In the early game, he's a good snowballing champion, and with the ultimate, he can gank left and right. So he has the potential to snowball the map, but he will fall off in the mid and late game pretty hard. Lilia in the early game, pretty weak, but her teamfights can be pretty good in the mid and late game once she gets items. Lux, overall, pretty solid poking mage. Teemo, surprisingly, I've seen some Teemo one-trick ponies in the mid lane. The guerrilla tactic, just jumping out, poking people down, is actually very annoying to deal with. I think he is kind of underrated. Lucian is not B tier, he's S tier. Ari is S+. Oh, you know why? because I keep moving them first into this, and then I'm moving them up afterwards. That's why some champions I didn't move them yet. Ari, great assassin, high mobility playmaking mage. Grace, situational mid laner, can be cheesy. Annie, overall. Maybe I should have put her 8 here. Nah, I'm gonna stick her there. I think she's okay. Early game pretty weak though. Bad roamer. Brand, same reason, bad roamer. Asol depends, but his early game is dog shit. Overall in teamfights it can be good though. Same for Morgana. Early game, absolute dog shit. But her teamfights can be good. Like, once she has like 3 items, she can be good poking mage. Kale, I think she's okay. In the mid lane, she has better scaling potential, or easier scaling potential, because she's not that easy to dive. Great hyper carry though. Oh, wait, didn't I have them in B tier usually? I think I had them in B tier normally. Seraphine, weak in the early game. Piss weak in the early game. Bad roamer, but a good ultimate can be decent though. Okay, let's move on to ADCs. So for ADC, Zeri got nerfed a lot, but she's still broken as fuck. Honestly, she's still broken. Too much damage and mobility. Kai'Sa, very solid ADC. Too much damage. Shield, invisibility. Tristana, late game hypercarry monster. Vayne, hypercarry monster. Too much mobility. Crowd control, invisibility. Samira, one ultimate. Reset, boom, boom, boom. Too much sustain. Very hard to deal with. Ezreal, insane poking monster, high mobility. Lucian, insane burst, high mobility. He's like an assassin. He feels like an assassin. He just one-shots you so easily. Corki, great in teamfights with a package. Jinx, a little bit too weak in the early game, but insane hyper carry. Very solid poking champion. Caitlyn, overall solid ADC. Good range. Saya, very solid ADC as well. Draven, insane snowballing monster, but lack of mobility and high skill ceiling. Orianna, Ziggs, Karma. Great utility mages, but they work better in competitive. Ashe lacks damage, but has some good playmaking potential. I think Misfortune is fine as an ADC. In the early game, pretty strong. Good teamfights as well. But it's just not as strong as the others in late game, in my opinion. Brand is decent, but he is not as good as the other APCs. Lack of range. Morgana weak in the early game. Lux is okay as an APC. But I feel like the others are just better in comparison. Twisted Fate, ADC. I've seen some. It's not that bad, not gonna lie, because he has really good crowd control. Senna ADC is really not that good. She's much better as a support. Vega APC, pretty dog shit. Akshan ADC, pretty dog shit. He is just not that strong in comparison to other ADCs, and he lacks range in teamfights, especially because he's too close range in comparison to other ADCs. So he's easier to kill and doesn't do as much damage as others. Let's move on to support. So for support, I changed Pyke into S+. Pyke is actually broken. Pyke is one of the best playmaking supports, and in the right hand he is just an absolute roaming playmaking hyper carry monster. So I've moved Pyke up into S+ tier, changed my opinion. Yuumi, I always ban Yuumi. Because Yuumi plus hyper carry is GG easy. You lost the game. Karma, she's like a hyper carry poking mage, to be honest, and has too much utility. Now for S, we have Alistar, Thresh, Nautilus, Rakan, Galio, and Gragas as insane playmaking roaming monsters. And Galio also got buffed, by the way. That's a quick summary. Like, they are good frontline with good crowd control and good playmaking potential. Senna is actually a very good secondary carry into the right team comps, in solo queue especially. Soraka, yeah, I think she's S. She is actually S. In the right team comp, she is so hard to deal with because she just keeps healing everyone up and you can kill them. Into the wrong team comp, maybe it's just the players. Maybe some Soraka players are just too bad that I'm thinking, shit champion. But against some Soraka players, she is so annoying to deal with, even if you're buying anti-heal. Jenna, good enchanter, good peeler, same for Nami, with good playmaking potential. Luli, Lulu, similar to Yuumi, very annoying hyper carry booster, but not as strong as Yuumi. Ashe, good playmaking support. Leona, Braum, Set, also good playmakers, but not as good as the others. Lux, decent AP support carry, I would say. Has some crowd control, has some good damage. Morgana, Seraphine, Sona are just not that strong in the early game. They can be decent in the mid and late game, but in the early game they are very weak laning phase wise. Singe as well, very cheesy pick. Shen as well, cheesy pick, and they are very snowball reliant. They need gold. If they don't get gold, they're shit. And Blitzcrank is just trash, in my opinion. But yeah, that's great for my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed it. And tell me, guys, your opinion about the tier list, whether or not you think it's accurate or there are some changes you would do. But I see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.